What's up, everyone? Today, I'm going to show you the number one food that is destroying your heart, and you're probably eating this every single day. So if you care about your health, about your heart, then watch this video until the end because I'm going to tell you exactly which one food you should avoid. So we're talking about heart disease here, right? You have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, maybe even some diabetes or prediabetes. You've got all these risk factors for heart disease. What can you do to avoid getting heart disease? Well, first of all, you've got to avoid the food that's causing it, and this video will show you exactly what food I'm talking about. But also, at the end, I'm going to tell you the one drink that you can have every single day to clean out the arteries, okay? So make sure you watch until the end so you don't miss that secret. Now, there are many different types of heart disease. We're talking about coronary artery disease. That's where you have the hardening of the arteries and the narrowing of the arteries. And that's because you have plaque that's building up inside the artery walls. So plaque is like this. It's made of fat, it's made of cholesterol, calcium, sometimes platelets and other debris in the body. And so plaque builds up and you have this blockage in the arteries, okay? And that blockage can eventually cause a heart attack or a stroke or just poor circulation. Now, this is interesting. In the U.S. alone, 655,000 people die each year from heart disease. That's one person every 9 minutes. Heart disease claims more lives than all forms of cancer combined. The number one cause of heart disease is atherosclerosis, that hardening and narrowing of the arteries. And that's due to plaque buildup. Well, I'm going to give you the number one thing that causes plaque buildup, and I'm going to show you some research too. But let me first explain something else. There's also another type of heart disease besides coronary artery disease. This is called metabolic-associated fatty liver disease, okay? Now that fatty liver can lead to what's called non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, NASH, and that can turn into fibrosis, scar tissue in the liver. Then that can turn into cirrhosis, and then what happens is you have portal hypertension. You have all these blood vessels that are blocked off in the liver. They're scarred off, so the blood has to find another route. So it goes into the stomach area. It starts creating a lot of collateral circulation. And this is why people with a fatty liver, the legs get all varicosed, and you can see the veins just bulging, okay? It's because the blood has to go somewhere else. So instead of going through the liver because the liver is blocked, it has to go through the veins in the legs. So that's one way that a fatty liver can cause problems throughout the entire body. And if you want to know how to fix a fatty liver, I made a video on that. Check the link below. But let's talk about the number one killer when it comes to heart attacks, okay, besides the fatty liver. The number one food that destroys your heart and causes atherosclerotic heart disease is this. Are you ready? Vegetable oils. Okay, vegetable oils. I mean, this is just amazing to me how people consume these oils thinking they're healthy. I mean, they've been told by the medical profession that they're healthy. In fact, I had a doctor tell me once that, yeah, we need to consume these vegetable oils because they're so healthy. They're essential. We need them. Well, could that be further from the truth? Nothing could be further from the truth than that. I mean, there's nothing essential about vegetable oils. There's no vitamins, there's no minerals. I mean, they're highly processed. They're rancid. They're loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, which creates inflammation in the body. I mean, these things are poison. They're destroying your heart, they're destroying your brain, they're destroying your joints. I mean, there's no health benefits. In fact, there's a big difference between vegetable oils and butter, for example. Here's the difference. When you consume butter, which is a saturated fat, it increases your HDL, which is the good cholesterol. But when you eat vegetable oils, it decreases your HDL. So anything that decreases your HDL, that increases your risk for getting heart disease. Now, vegetable oils are unsaturated fats. They're polyunsaturated fats. They're very unstable, very fragile. They break down easily, and they become rancid. In fact, when they manufacture these oils, they have to use solvents to extract the oil out of the seeds or the grains or the legumes. They're highly refined, they're highly processed, they're degummed, they're bleached, they're deodorized, they're hydrogenated, partially hydrogenated. I mean, it's just amazing. To me, these things are so unhealthy. I did a video on the most unhealthy foods to consume. And guess what was number 1 on the list? Vegetable oils. It's so obvious when you look at all the research. If you just do a search on Google, you type in vegetable oils and heart disease, you'll find all sorts of research that shows that vegetable oils dramatically increase your risk for heart disease. And that's because they're pro-inflammatory. They promote inflammation. Inflammation is at the heart of all chronic disease. But, let's not stop there. Let's go to the next point. These vegetable oils are highly industrialized. They're made from grains and they're GMO, okay? They're herbicide tolerant, so they spray glyphosate on them. Glyphosate, as you know, is an antibiotic. They're sprayed on these crops, especially soybeans and corn. And then what happens is you consume this stuff and you start developing gut inflammation. And I made a video on that before, how glyphosate creates leaky gut. So now you have this inflammatory response in the gut, but you also have an inflammatory response from the omega-6 fatty acids, right? They're pro-inflammatory. So what are some of the common vegetable oils you should avoid? Well, soy oil, canola oil, cottonseed oil, corn oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, grapeseed oil, rice bran oil, sesame oil, walnut oil, peanut oil. What do you have? Avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil. I would actually consume extra virgin olive oil. I wouldn't worry about that so much. Cold-pressed, raw, unrefined oils are fine. But what you really want to avoid is the industrial seed oils. Okay, you ever wonder why they call them vegetable oils? Because they come from vegetables. No, they don't. They come from grains and legumes. There's nothing vegetable about them. It's just marketing. It's just a term they use. They should be called grain oils or legume oils. That's where they come from. But the reality is, these oils are very unstable. They're very fragile. They oxidize very easily. And when they oxidize, they become rancid and they damage your cells. They're highly inflammatory. They block your arteries. They decrease your HDL. The list goes on and on. The only reason they became so popular is because they're cheap. It's cheap to manufacture these things. It's cheap to process these things. It's cheap to grow these things. You can grow a soybean crop, for example, in a year. You can't grow an olive tree, a fruit tree in a year. It takes several years, so that's why they became so popular. They're cheap, and big business wanted cheap oils. The manufacturers wanted cheap oils, and they created all sorts of concoctions and chemical concoctions to create these oils, but the reality is they're extremely unhealthy. So again, if you have heart disease, you're at risk for heart disease, you're consuming these things. That's the number 1 food you have to avoid. There's no question about it. The research is so clear, and unfortunately these oils are in so many different foods, especially the fast food, the junk food, the processed food, the packaged food. It's just everywhere. So if you want to really take control of your health and you want to heal your heart, you've got to stay away from these oils. There's a test that you can do at home that's very inexpensive. It measures the oxidation in your body, and this is a great way to determine if you're consuming these oils. If you have a lot of oxidation in your body, then you're consuming these oils, and these oils create a lot of damage in the body. If you haven't seen my video on the most unhealthy foods to consume, check the link below. Also, if you're concerned about a fatty liver, check the video below. Now, since we're talking about your heart, let me give you the number 1 drink that you can consume every single day to help clean out your arteries. It's very simple. It's a mixture of 3 ingredients. You take 1 ripe avocado, you blend that with 1 cup of berries, organic berries, wild berries, and then add 1 cup of water. Blend all that together and drink that every day. It's delicious. It's sweet. It's perfect for breakfast. and that will help heal your heart. Why? Because of the fiber, because of the antioxidants, because of the healthy fats. That drink is a powerhouse. It will help heal your heart. If you haven't seen my video on the 7 stages of healing, check the link below. And if you haven't seen my video on the most unhealthy foods to eat, check the link below. Hey, before you go, if you're benefiting from any of this content, please share your success story in the link below.